Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. This is Kelvin with West 10 TV. All right, guys, we're gonna be going live almost all day today with Diddy coverage. Man, I'm gonna be showing you guys some videos from myself, other YouTubers, just trying to get some more clarity on the story. This is an ongoing thing. We don't know where Diddy's at right now. It's a whole lot going on. So anybody that didn't see the raid, I'm gonna go ahead and put that video up. Going to get that started to just get the morning started, and then we're just gonna just move on as we see fit. It's a couple of YouTubers that had a couple of good some really good insight of they did some investigation. I think is very credible of what some people are saying about it and how it came along. Like I did the video last night, and I did talk about that. Some of this goes back to even like the Tupac murder and the recent arrest of Keefy D. Puff Daddy name keeps on coming up. It just don't stop. So we're gonna keep you guys informed. I wouldn't be surprised sometime today, maybe even tomorrow, sometime this week, if they don't come with some kind of agreement where Puff Daddy turns himself in, but I don't think he's gonna get out. I really don't. I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where they're not gonna set a bond. They're gonna say that if he's out, it's gonna be a situation where he could possibly tamper with evidence, witness intimidation, all of that, because they've been saying that he has this footage on only so many celebrities. So that's one thing that he has going against him, is that they say that he has this footage. That's what he's been able to blackmail people and all that. And as everybody's seeing, Cassie is the kind of the kickstarter of all of this, because it seems like after her basically her lawsuit, the floodgates came open, kind of like what 50 Cent said. I mean, it's like the sharks, seen the water in the blood in the water, and they came for him. So it's just it's really it's crazy what's happening to him. But I'll let you guys watch the raid from yesterday, and then we just have back to back coverage on this. All right.
A raid of his Miami home is happening right now, as well as now we're looking at the live pictures of what's going on in Holmby Hills at this mansion right here, all connected to Sean Combs. So again, until we find out further word as to what exactly they're searching for and why, we continue to look at the procedures taking place regarding this raid that's being conducted by Homeland Security. You have support from local law enforcement officials as well. We saw from the ground shots, you see multiple agencies there a part of all of this, and they have a number of resources on hand, with a drone flying up top, as well as they had ladders taking a closer look at certain parts of the property. And so they are looking at every nook and cranny they need to in terms of why they're investigating this home and property. So clearly this is going to take a while, and as Haley mentioned, with her shot down on the ground right there, more people are coming to your area. Haley?
Yeah, I would say it's mostly media at this point. We were the first ones here on scene, but yeah, since there's probably a dozen different media agencies. Yeah, it looks like his homes on both coasts are being raided. We still have not gotten word on exactly where P. Diddy is, if he is in fact in New York right now or in Los Angeles, and of course, yeah, we haven't seen him here in Holmby Hills. This is right off of Sunset and Beverly Glen, and it all unfolded, I'd say, about 30 minutes ago. They're at his home here. They're also at his home in Miami. Of course, it's a little bit calmer, I would say, than it was about 20 minutes ago when it all happened. The guns that were drawn earlier have been since put away. Looks like they just put away their drone, but of course doing a thorough job of checking the home for any kind of details that they can come up with related to these allegations against sex trafficking. As you said, Sandra, there's several lawsuits against him for these allegations, all of which he has denied. So we will have to wait and see. Of course, and everybody's interested in the details of what how he's connected to these latest allegations.
And from your vantage
we'll bring
point,
you the very latest as soon as, I'm sorry?
Yeah, from your vantage point, Haley, does it look like some authorities are leaving the scene right now? They're done, or not? Is that not the case?
No, it looks like more are coming. I think what you're seeing is just the vehicles moving to a different location. We're kind of at the bottom of the hill. But if you go up a little bit farther, some of the vehicles that you saw down here earlier have since kind of gone to the other side of the hill. This is obviously a very prestigious neighborhood. I said earlier, Humphrey Bogart's former house, I think, is next door to P. Diddy's in the 200 block here of Mapleton and Holmby Hills off of Sunset near Beverly Glen. So the vehicles have basically just moved forward. You're seeing a lot more of those law enforcement officers from the Department of Homeland Security, though, back here on the street in Mapleton since they've come out of the home after they've done their thorough investigating inside that beautiful home belonging to P. Diddy, to Sean Combs. So I don't think they have any intention, Sandra, on going anywhere anytime soon. And overhead, you can see law enforcement helicopters and, of course, Stu up there in Sky Fox.
Thank you so much, Haley, for that perspective on the ground right there in front of that Holmby Hills mansion. Stu, up in Sky Fox, it looks like, yes, there are some more law enforcement, but in different attire. Should I say suits instead of body armor?
Definitely, and you know, and we all know how that works. The suits are going to be the investigators and probably the ones that are running the show. And again, I still think that they are just waiting for that green light for them to be allowed to make their way inside the property and to make their way to the areas that I would venture to say that they probably are pretty specific. I don't think they're just going in randomly. And again, this is just a guess. I don't think they're going in randomly, just going through everybody's stuff inside there. They probably have an area that they know, or an office that they're going to be looking into, or some computers that they might want to physically get their hands on, and that's what they're waiting for right now to make their way inside this property. This, like you said, very beautiful home out there in the Holmby Hills area, and they just waiting to get the all clear to allow them inside. While these officers that we see right there in the tactical gear, well, their job is to make sure that everything is safe for them to go in. Now, they don't probably, and again, I just want to be clear, it's like nobody's thinking that there's booby traps or some kind of sniper inside the home. That's not what they're thinking at all. It's probably more along the lines of they want to make sure that everybody is outside of the home because they don't want to have somebody stepping out or coming out later on and surprising or catching people off guard. That's not what they want. And right now you can see Sandra, you've been saying, there's a large number of people out here. I would venture to say, as far as the officers go, I would probably put this group closer to 100. Not just what we're seeing right here. This is just one group of many that have made their way out here to this Holmby Hills area. And as far as the suits that we were talking about, that's part of the group right there. But there's some other ones as well, younger ones that were basically leading the charge, and that's them right there. Actually, they perfect timing, and it looks like they're making their way over towards the home. They might be the first ones to make their way in to start that investigation process, or figure out where we're going to look, what we're looking for, and then later on the suits will make their way in as well. But this, like you said, is going to be a very long process out here, and this is just the very, very beginning. And the folks that they had taken into custody, they've moved them out of the area right now. And again, wouldn't say that they are arrested. We don't know that for a fact. They took them into custody. A few of them still had cuffs on, some of them didn't. So maybe this was a division of, these are people that we know work here, these are people that may be associated with Sean Combs, or Bad Boy Entertainment. So it's one of those type of situations, and until they know who they are, they're just going to keep them in custody and possibly just let them go later on. And I don't believe the word arrested has been used out here as of yet, but again, still very active situation, and of course that is a huge house, and they've got a lot of rooms to clear before they allow those investigators in.
Yeah, we talk about the process of bringing this many law enforcement officials to the scene to have a raid like this and conduct a raid and make entry into a Holmby Hills mansion that's owned by a prominent celebrity and their business. So clearly, this is something that doesn't happen just overnight. Law enforcement officials do have to have their evidence ready. They have to make sure every T is crossed in order to make entry into a home like this for an investigation. So when we talk about and see these kinds of raids happen or having them be conducted, it kind of shows that they do have enough evidence that their investigation is to a certain point where they have made a search warrant and they've gotten all of the evidence they need to have a search warrant, that they have to establish that a crime was possibly committed and there's evidence of probable cause and a crime that has taken place. So all of these things, they have to meet a threshold before law enforcement can just come together like this and approach a property and make entries. So we're seeing that here at Holmby Hills and also in Miami, where they are searching Sean Combs' Miami home as well. So again, this doesn't just happen overnight. This is a process that they've been working on for quite some time to make sure that they have enough evidence to be able to conduct a raid like this, especially with so many law enforcement agencies involved, investigators involved, and you see just personnel involved on location right there. And you do see a number of people. This is going to be an active situation for quite some time. Again, we don't know what they're looking for. We don't know what the interest is right now. We can only presume that it is part of a sex trafficking investigation. Those are multiple lawsuits that Sean Combs have been facing this year alone, allegations that he denies, but clearly this could be all part of the process here. But again, law enforcement does just not go in willy-nilly into a home and conduct a raid like this unless they get the necessary evidence they need to get that search warrant to acquire entry as well. So if we could take a look from Haley's point of view, it does seem like there are more individuals gearing up or maybe more investigators on the scene from the ground there, Haley.
Hey, Sandra, yes, we're actually trying to get an interview lined up, obviously live with the Department of Homeland Security. We had a lady come down here just a minute ago and give her card, so trying to contact her so we can, of course, get some official details from her, because everything that we're getting is basically behind the scenes from our law enforcement sources here. So basically, we don't have anything new yet. We're still just waiting to kind of figure out exactly what happened. We know, of course, P. Diddy's homes on both coasts have been raided. You can see some more officers coming out of his property right now. Just trying to see if I could see the lady who we're hoping to get the interview with, and she's just messaging me back, so I've got to send her an email for the request first. So we're working on that to get you some more details. But yeah, it's still very active on scene, just more and more vehicles showing up. This is largely, most of the law enforcement officers here, Sandra, are, of course, the Department of Homeland Security, and then we also have LASD and LAPD here as well. So as soon as I can get anything official on camera, we'll come back and let you know.
Definitely. I know what it's like on the ground right there. You're dealing with a lot of officials trying to get some answers, trying to talk to people, and of course it is very difficult to do two things at once, so we will let you get to work right there on the ground. Let's go up to Stu again. As I was mentioning the procedure of this, and you've covered so many of these types of stories, you've been overhead when these raids have happened. This isn't a process that just happens overnight. Clearly they are looking for something, they have enough evidence, and they were able to get a search warrant before they could even do or conduct a raid like this.
Oh, you definitely, Sandra, and what you're talking about really kind of shows exactly what you're trying to point out, that this didn't just happen overnight. This wasn't just an accusation and they came and, knocked down the doors and started tearing up the house. This was something that's an ongoing investigation. Lawyers, attorneys, and district attorneys, they all have to sign off on this. They have to look this over. Judges have to make that decision as well, and nobody wants to be on the end of a wrongful seizure. So, of course, they needed to show evidence that there is a reason for this type of force and for these officers to make their way into this home. And then again, of course, the world we live in today, all of these officers that are showing up, they all know that, we are everybody's under a watchful eye nowadays. So they made every effort to do this as quickly and as less destructive as possible. We watched them trying to get through one of those side gates. That pedestrian gate was giving them a little bit of an issue, but in the end they got in there, and after that they made their way in very quickly. We didn't see any doors being smashed or things getting kicked in. It was basically a lot of opening up and just letting that garage door, somebody got in there and they opened up that garage door, and or possibly the people inside were curious what was going on and they opened up that garage door. But again, the forceful entry part of it, it really truly was just in a little bit here in that side gate. Everything else was very quick and with etiquette would be the best way to say it, actually.
Yeah.
They went in and they just did what they needed to do. And again, the reason why they're still there, I can tell you, it's not like a television show where they're pulling out drawers and dumping out clothes and just trashing the place. They just want to make sure that there are no other people inside that building that may still be scared, hiding, or having a problem, and that as soon as that word is given, which I'm sure is going to come shortly, because we already saw a couple of the groups making their way in, less armed, so they're making their way in. They're going to start looking for, and of course, even in that the warrant, they're going to have a list of things that they are able to look at, able to take. It isn't just a random search. They actually have to go in and actually find things that they believe have information or evidence that could create a guilty or innocent situation for Sean Combs. So at any rate, it's still very ongoing, very preliminary, but again, we do see a large force out there, which, like you're trying to say, or what I believe you did say, is that this is a warranted search. And of course, they are here, and they are definitely looking for specific pieces of information. What they are, we don't know. We may never know, but right now, that search is definitely ongoing.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, we've covered so many of these different types of raids. Obviously, not always at a celebrity mansion like this in Holmby Hills, but clearly sometimes you see them having to forcefully enter a property and seize evidence, and it doesn't always go so smoothly. And it was, in fact, very smooth the way they gained entry into this property. And after they figured out that side entrance, they were able to make entry. But it's not like they show in the movies, as you mentioned, Stu, right? They weren't battering down doors and destroying property. This is very methodical, and in terms of many stories we've covered like this, it was a very easy entry, and they were able to access the property and get on site. So clearly, they're ready for anything. Whatever they're going to be met with, you don't know, and that is why they make sure that they are safe in numbers, that they're armored, and that is why you see such a big force out there, because you never know what kind of emotion you're going to be met with.
Definitely, and emotion is really what plays a lot of it, and that's one of the things that we were talking about is, you know, right now, that was the gate where they were having all that trouble. They're actually looking at that actual door and propping it open, but that was the door that was giving them trouble. And I was trying to figure out if that is actually maybe like a private entrance for that back house. It does actually look like it. It seems like, you know, if you're staying there, that's how you get in and out without going through the actual house itself. But you can see they still have personnel there on scene. Every house, there's 3 properties that I would say on this big piece of property. They all have some sort of somebody there, just making sure that there isn't anything being taken or anything moving in and out, and or another person in that area. But that main house, there's still a number of folks that like armored personnel that we've seen go in and have not seen come out, but there's some of those ones that are not wearing the gear, and those are that first group that made their way in. They were here originally. They came with the armored trucks. They did not make their way into the property. They waited outside, and now they are actually making their way to that front door, which shows you that their progress is being made. And of course, we keep an eye on the as we call them, and it is what they are, the suits down there. I'm sure those are the ones that are pretty much running the show, or where all the evidence is going to go to in the end. They're still outside, so that shows you that they're going to be waiting. I would venture to say when they find something, those are the guys that are going to make their way in and actually looking at and taking things from this home. But right now, that's still, that process, I wouldn't even think has actually even started.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to take a lot of time. That is a huge mansion to begin with. And then it depends on what they're looking for. It could be as small as a hard drive or as big as boxes and boxes full of evidence or information they're trying to collect and gather. And where all of that information is also the tricky part. I mean, think about going into a stranger's home. You don't know where they put things. And so it could be very hidden. So this whole process, it could take a lot of time in terms of them finding what they made entry for. So this is a methodical lengthy process. And again, this is taking place right here in Holmby Hills, as well as his Miami home. And I'm sure law enforcement officials from both sides in Miami and LA are certainly talking to each other as they go through this as well. But still no sign of Sean Combs himself. We don't know where he is. It's not clear if they're looking for him. He may be in New York, as Haley was mentioning on the ground there. But clearly, this was in all a very peaceful raid as they made entry, and right now as they are making their way in and out of the property as they conduct their search. But a search that is just beginning, as you see those suits, the investigators taking their time, making sure everything is done properly and methodically in terms of what they're looking for at this point. Again, we have a lot of questions that we just don't know the answers to at this point. We do have someone on the line right now, Hal Kempfer. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you can make light of what we're looking at in terms of Homeland Security making entry into the Holmby Hills mansion of Sean Combs.
Sandra, this is a Homeland Security investigations that appears to be on site. What they're probably looking for is, well, I should say in general, they look at human trafficking and sex trafficking being a component of that. And of course, there's been some rather big civil suit stuff that's taken place, but also the New York case where the statute of limitations basically had been rescinded, allowing them to look back many years in this case. Part of it was there have been allegations that he was drugging young women, so that there was which certainly implies that it was rape that had taken place at some point. But I think what HSI is probably looking at is the interstate aspects of it, if there was any online activity that could have taken place. And that's usually where HSI would have a jurisdictional interest. Homeland Security Investigations being part of the Department of Homeland Security, looking at the interstate side, mostly online, and whatever took place across state lines. And of course, he travels all over the place. So I'm sure they're looking at him potentially transporting women around the country, and whether that was tied to a larger criminal activity.
Yeah, definitely Homeland Security involved in any interstate, as you mentioned, and international criminal activity here. So what exactly do you think everyone is looking for at this point? We saw such a large number of law enforcement make entry.
Well, it's a combination of both local and federal. And from what I understand, the local law enforcement has the specific lead at each one of these locations, with the federal federal investigators coming in with them in concert. What they're probably looking for is any evidence that they can gather, certainly any images, pictures, video, anything online. I've no doubt that they're going in and gathering up any electronic media, to include any laptops, any flash drives, anything that he might have that might support whatever allegations, whatever reasonable suspicion that they have that led to this these search warrants. Just to get a search warrant like this requires a certain substantial legal barrier has to be, or legal argument or legal litmus test has to be met just to get them to sign off. Particularly knowing with somebody with means like this, that if they go into their home, they're going to be met with some very capable lawyers on the defendant's part to challenge what was ever done, and everything they do there is going to be challenged. So you can imagine, not only did they have to work with the district attorney and potentially assistant U.S. attorneys in arranging this, but they also are being very careful on how they're gathering any evidence, realizing that just about everything they do on site will potentially be challenged in court by his attorneys.
Absolutely. And speaking of his attorneys, we did reach out for comment. We have not yet heard back. Obviously, we want to hear his side. For Sean Combs' part, he has denied any allegations regarding sex trafficking and any investigation into that. But yeah, this could take a lot of time in terms of collecting that hard drive and flash drives and any computers they may find. Like I was mentioning before, Hal, it's very difficult to know where someone would have that or would hide that if they were trying to hide evidence. And we're looking at a big, big mansion here. Before we get back to you, Hal, let's go to Haley on the ground there.
Hey, Sandra. Yes, we just got that statement from the Department of Homeland Security that I was trying to get for you guys about 10 minutes ago. It doesn't say a whole lot, but it says this is attributed to Homeland Security investigations. Earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available, so nothing really that we haven't already told you. Here on the scene, on the ground, a lot of the law enforcement officers with Homeland Security have gone up the hill. You can see one of those big command vehicles coming out, one of those police vehicles. In the meantime, behind us, several of his friends, they've identified themselves as, have been trying to get through the crime scene to get to the house. But of course, LAPD not letting them through. We've tried to get comment from them on camera to find out if they have any more information about what's going on, but they haven't been able to they don't want to provide us any information, I should say. And just in case you're just joining us, we have homes of P. Diddy being raided on both coasts, Miami and his home here in Holmby Hills.
So, Haley, just to clarify in that statement, it didn't mention Sean Combs, correct? Or anything?
It doesn't, but we have confirmation from multiple law enforcement sources that this does involve Sean Combs or P. Diddy. But no, this statement, I'll read it one more time, says earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from both HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners.
All right.
We'll provide further information as it becomes available. Of course, we're trying to get them to talk to us on camera, but they said, the lady in particular who sent me the statement says she's not allowed to.
Thank you so much. Yeah, not really clarifying a whole lot, though, but clearly understandable because right now, maybe they're not in position to divulge any more information. So let's bring you Hal Kempfer here again from Homeland Security. Thank you so much for your expertise in all this. I don't know if you heard that statement, but didn't really say anything except that an investigation is underway in Miami and here. So clearly not stating who it involves or what the charges are.
It doesn't, and they might be crime scenes. I should clarify, I'm not from Homeland Security, but I work in Homeland Security, and I've worked with Homeland Security investigations over many years. Very familiar with not only the agency, but also a lot of the individuals, a lot of the people who work there, to include here in Los Angeles, especially. What they're probably looking at are the two residences, one in New York, one in Los Angeles. And I haven't seen the documentation, but if it doesn't name Sean Combs by name, it's probably because there's been allegations that criminal activity had taken place tied to sex trafficking at these locations. So what they're doing is they're looking at the locations themselves and investigating them as potential crime scenes. And of course, with that, I'm sure the scope is such that they can look just about anywhere, gather up any materials. They're probably gathering up any electronic materials. They're probably doing things like imaging the place, taking a lot of pictures and stuff that may be used later. Could be in reference to what witnesses say on the stand, that they may look at various pictures of the locations themselves to help refresh their memory while they're talking about various activities that may have taken place or alleged to have taken place. So there's a lot of reasons why they might not focus on him per se. Also, there's another thing too, is he runs a fairly large organization. The fact that they don't name him might mean that they're looking at other activities that could have taken place within his immediate, entourage or his organization that involve these properties. So one can't rule out anything at this point because we don't know a lot.
Sure, and obviously this is just their statement to the press at this point. So what the actual legal documents say and what the statement they gave us is very, very different, let's be clear. So we're sometimes, not privy to all of those details and information until it becomes available at a later date. But you were mentioning the whole search process. We are seeing so many law enforcement officials, investigators, and this is basically 3 properties on this entire, or 3 homes, I should say, buildings on this entire property in Holmby Hills we're talking about. How long is it going to take for them to go through it? Do they have a time limit? I mean, essentially, some people are going to come back into the home, right, at some point. So how does that all play out?
I'm sure if you were to ask them, they'd say it's going to take as long as it takes. These are huge properties. You can imagine looking through one home takes a lot of time, but when you have 3 very large buildings with a lot of different rooms, various different levels on those homes. Also, they're going to be looking at every nook and cranny. They'll be looking anything that's subsurface in the home. They'll be looking in basically everywhere they can. They could be using a variety of sensor systems to find out if there's any hidden compartments, safes, things like that, and walls that aren't readily apparent. There could be a lot of different things they're looking for, and they may have dogs there too, looking for various different things as well. But they're probably looking for more where stuff may be held. I would imagine with that, and of course anything tied to any of the allegations. We don't know, but certainly the fact that they're there indicates that they probably had some witnesses say that certain things happened or certain things were there when they were there. And they're probably trying to verify if those things are in fact there, if that what they were told is correct. So there's probably just a lot of things that they're working through, checking off a list of stuff. And by the way, they may be looking on the grounds themselves. There could be stuff that's not necessarily in the buildings that are on the grounds, and of course they'd be looking at that as well. I imagine it's going to take quite some time with a property this big for them to work through all of the potential spaces and places where materials could be.
Thank you so much. We will have more on Fox 11 FM. So if we get information, we'll once again. And now we resume to our original program.
This is our family farm. And our third player is Zach. D20. He actually had no idea. Here's our host.
More can I say, man? These past couple of months relating to Diddy has been some of the most hectic months for him, period. It started with Cassie's lawsuit, and then he settled that within 24 hours. And ever since then, the floodgates opened with a bunch of women and even men accusing him of sexual assault, human trafficking, and stuff relating to that. And even, jipping people out of their work and not paying them. And yeah, it's gotten crazy. So I'm going to break down a lot of what just happened. His house got raided in both locations in Miami and Los Angeles. And I'm going to break down why that happened. And then let's go over kind of what I think is the reason this all started and the main catalyst for these raids. So HSI did the investigation. That is Homeland Security Investigations. They're the ones that handle at a federal level human trafficking and sex trafficking. That's their main thing that they handle. So they decided to get basically a warrant to be able to raid Diddy's homes. And they released a statement talking about this a little bit, just to explain kind of what they're doing and why and how it happened. And this is what they said. New York executed law enforcement actions in part of ongoing investigations, and they worked with HSI Miami and HSI Los Angeles to get these things, get the warrants to be able to get both of the houses. So it started in New York. All these lawsuits, these sexual lawsuits, are based in New York courts. So New York had the right to be like, hey, we're going to use all of our power and all the law enforcement that we can use in America and get these search warrants for Diddy's homes. And Diddy has 2 homes, Miami and Los Angeles. Apparently he stays more at the Miami one, and they raid them at the same time. They have to do that because if they don't do them at the same time, one house could be cleared of evidence because, hey, you know what? My house is getting raided in Los Angeles. Oh, let me call somebody and clear any evidence I have in Miami. So they have to do it at the same time so that nobody can clear any evidence or throw away any evidence or destroy any evidence. They do it at random times, and that's the best time to do it because it's when you least expect it. Now, the lawsuits that happen against Diddy are civil lawsuits. These aren't criminal at all, but it gives authorities guidelines on what's going on. If there's smoke, there's fire. That's basically how the authorities are looking at this. Hey, this guy's getting back to back lawsuits of sexual assault and human trafficking. What is going on here? The feds are going to look at that online, all these lawsuits happening in New York. What is going on? And with those lawsuits, like I said, it gives them guidelines on the alleged conduct that happened. And if there is an investigation started, that can serve as a source and could lead to stuff like raids to confiscate things like hard drives, computers, Ring cameras, a bunch of things. And that's what they have to write when they get these search warrants. They have to kind of write down a list. Hey, what are we going in there to look for? And that's usually where people store stuff when it comes to footage and things that, relate to sex trafficking. Now, the crazy thing about this is in order for Homeland Security investigations to get a search warrant, they literally have to go to a judge and convince them that they have enough probable cause, aka evidence or people saying that, hey, there is something here. There's something going on with this guy, this location. There's something that we have to look at. So they had to go to a judge in New York, convince that judge that, hey, we have to get this warrant because there's something going on here. And the judge, based on whatever was presented to that judge, said, yes, go in there because this is clear as day. Something's going on there. Now I'm going to talk about what I think really convinced the judge. There are 2 things. So on March 4th, earlier this month, producer Lil Rod sued Diddy and claimed that he didn't get paid properly for the work that he did on Diddy's latest album, the Love album, between the years of 2022 and 2023, which was just last year. So these are recent allegations. So that's the first thing. He didn't get paid, right? But the other things is what really got the feds' attention. Now, the reason why I'm mainly focusing on the Lil Rod lawsuit is because Lil Rod actually uploaded photos, footage, and evidence about it, clear as day evidence of what Diddy was doing. He just posted photos of like him at parties that Diddy was with minors, alleged minors that Lil Rod said. He also said that, he was forced to drug people in their drinks. That's what Diddy forced him to do. Claims that Diddy was shot someone in a bathroom, and he actually has photos of that, of blood all over the ground in the bathroom at Diddy's house. He also claims that, Diddy was hiring prostitutes and, sex workers to do all kinds of crazy things. But if that's not crazy enough, this is the thing that kind of went over a lot of people's heads when it comes to this Lil Rod lawsuit. And what went over their heads is that Diddy was apparently, according to Lil Rod, having a bunch of footage of celebrities to blackmail them. So he would have these parties, he would record these celebrities doing bad things, just like the Jeffrey Epstein situation, where people are claiming that Jeffrey Epstein, had a bunch of footage of blackmail for celebrities. That's the same thing that's being accused of Diddy. That, hey, he had recorded a bunch of these things about celebrities, and that's why he could get away with all the things that he could get away with, because he would use that as blackmail towards other celebrities. That's what Lil Rod claimed. And that is probably the biggest thing out of this, because that's going to involve so many people if the feds actually, raided the house and find evidence of a bunch of celebrities. Let's just say, I don't know, just throw random names out there. Jay-Z, I don't know, Beyonce, whoever, Rihanna, all these people that go, LeBron James that I saw at a recent, not a recent, but quite a while ago, he's at a Diddy party. A lot of people that attended the Diddy parties, right? This footage, if he has a bunch of footage of these people, all hell's going to break loose. So that's the main thing that I think caught the feds' attention, that were like, okay, there's something here, because if this is what Lil Rod is saying in these lawsuits, we got to see if this is actually something. Another thing that probably convinced the judge to grant the warrant is this. Rolling Stone released an article about this raids, and this is what Rolling Stone says. A source tells Rolling Stone 4 Jane Does and 1 Jane Doe already sat for interviews with the Southern District of New York investigators for a probe related to alleged sex trafficking, domestic violence, and racketeering. More interviews are scheduled, the source said. So they already got one person interviewed, are getting 4 other people interviewed as well about this. The people, the victims. Jane Does are the obviously anonymous names of the victims. So if they're interviewing people, trying to get evidence that corroborates what those people are saying, it's over at this point. What happened to Keefe D? What was it? Early August, house got raided. Okay, people are like, that's crazy. What happened end of September? Literally a month and like 2-3 weeks later, he gets arrested. So that's very possible here with Diddy. It's not going to be for what a lot of people would want, which people have assumed that Diddy, put out the hit on Tupac. And I'm actually doing a documentary on it called Diddy, the $1 million hit. I go over the whole Tupac thing and, kind of seeing if there is any truth to that. But that's going to come out on my channel a little bit later. That's a shameless plug there. But, there's people want Diddy to go down for that Tupac thing. But regardless, if he goes down for this, people are going to be happy. And hopefully the victims actually get justice. There were reports that Diddy's plane was scheduled to fly out, his private jet. So this is what TMZ reported. Diddy's homes were raided in the U.S. to kick off the week, but the guy's own private jet is miles away in a completely different nation, although it's unclear if he's on board himself. So they didn't know at the time. TMZ has tracked Diddy's personal Love Air LLC jet, the well-known Black Gulfstream 5 that Diddy has flaunted and flown for years now. It looks like the aircraft is currently on ground in Anguilla, which is down in the Caribbean. So they were assuming that Diddy was escaping, but it turns out that they caught his plane at the Miami airport or his private jet there, and they took him to customs, Miami Airport Customs. We're told this shows Diddy pacing around the customs office there at the airport, and as you can see, he's not being detained, and he currently doesn't seem to be in custody here. Instead, Diddy's just walking around all by his lonesome. So they saw him around customs, just walking around, probably wondering what the hell's going on because it's all over the news. His kids were even arrested, not arrested, but put in handcuffs because they were raiding. I think that's normal protocol when a house gets raided. Everybody gets put in handcuffs for the moment. Doesn't mean that they're actually arrested, just for safety protocols. So they were, put in handcuffs. Everybody that was there was put in handcuffs. And it's looking bad, man. The Lil Rod, once I saw the Lil Rod lawsuit, it was over. At that point, I knew, hey, this is literally just time ticking. Once the feds get everything gathered up, they only raid you if they know they got a 95% conviction rate. If they know that they can get you, because they're not going to waste all this time and resources for nothing. Now, here's the thing that I want to go back and look on, right? That I find interesting. Had Diddy settled the Cassie lawsuit, because Cassie set this whole thing off. When Cassie sued Diddy publicly, Diddy settled within 24 hours because I'm sure Cassie has a lot of evidence. That was Diddy's girlfriend at the time when all this stuff was happening. So she's probably got evidence out the wazoo. I'm talking like insane evidence. I'm just assuming, but I bet she does. Had Diddy settled Cassie's lawsuit way before it went public, because there were reports that Cassie and Diddy were in talks about, Cassie wanted to basically was blackmailing him and said, hey, I'm going to reveal all this stuff about you if you don't pay me. Well, Diddy said, I'm going to call your bluff and I don't care. I'm not going to pay you. Well, she came out in the public, boom. And that was a wrong move on Diddy's end. I would have just paid her whatever she asked for, settled it under without nobody noticing. And none of these other lawsuits would have came. None of them would have came. So I'm sure he regrets that wholeheartedly. Had that never happened, probably would never have these lawsuits going on, because that gave other people confidence to be like, hey, if Cassie can get a settlement, if Cassie can sue and stand up, then we can too. The whole Me Too movement. There you go. So that I'm sure Diddy is regretting wholeheartedly. And 50 Cent called it out long time ago. He said, listen, settling with Cassie is going to open the floodgates. And that's exactly what happened. So there's a lot that's going to be going on here, and there's going to be a lot that's going to come down the line. It's not looking good, man, to say the least. 50, of course, he's going to have his comments. He said, now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done, meaning he's finished. They don't come like that unless they got a case. Exactly. That's facts. He continued trolling Diddy, talking about the private jet where they tracked it. He said, oh shit, this is a movie. I told y'all, but no, y'all didn't listen. He was right, man. If you guys don't know, Reggie Wright Jr. Spoke on this Diddy thing and actually predicted the raid. And he said, these type of people who do these type of crimes, they usually keep the evidence. They just have this psychopath thing about them where they just keep the evidence and they keep it in storage for themselves. It's something that, yeah, I don't know. A lot of murderers, you ever notice when, like, somebody kills a serial killer, does all this killings, they'll have the evidence of like the stuff there still, and people be like, why didn't you get rid of it in the ocean? Why didn't you, get rid of the gun? Blah, blah, blah. These people keep this stuff because they're just crazy and psychos. So I wouldn't be surprised if they raided Diddy's homes and actually found something. That's gonna be when they come out and say, hey, we found something. It's gonna be crazy because they're gonna take that evidence that they got, whatever they found at the house, present it to prosecutors, and if prosecutors say, hey, we got enough here to convict this guy, it's over. It's over. They're gonna find Diddy, arrest him, and boom, there goes the whatever's gonna happen. There are charges. The charges that are gonna stem from this is 25 years per charge of human trafficking, sex trafficking. It goes to 25 years. So if they stack that up, he's never getting out. He's getting life in prison, pretty much. He's like 50 something years old, so it's over at this point. So we'll see. We'll see what evidence they have, what they're going to present to prosecutors, and we'll keep our eye posted. But let me know what you guys think. Did he do it or did he not? I think it's ironic that this happened during Biggie's anniversary of Ready to Die, that album. Literally, the day of the anniversary, it happened. I think that's some type of karma in some way or another, man, because Diddy actually caused a lot of these things that spiraled into the death of a lot of artists, a lot of people. It's unfortunate that a lot of people have to suffer through the hands of him, but this is karma, man. Karma comes to you, whether it comes a day later, a year later, 30 years later, whatever the time frame, it's eventually going to come, man. So, we'll keep our eyes open and see what happens. But let me know what you guys think. That's it for today's video. If you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. For just
gonna play another video regarding this P. Diddy matter. This is actually coming from the Art of Dialogue. So it's a lot of videos out here that's bringing everything up to light. This is from his bodyguard. His name was Gene Deal. He was Puff Daddy's bodyguard for years. All right. Just give me a second while I pull the video up. Just one moment. Thank all you guys for tuning in this morning. We're going to run it all day today.
Gene Deal, once again, man, happy to have you on the platform, my guy. So with that being said, man, I mean, we're going to get right into it. Little Roy, how you feel about this lawsuit he got against Diddy?
Well, I want to get into this real quick, man, before we really even get started into this. And it's because something I seen today. This girl, Tiffany Red, she said that she was filing a claim against Diddy, but it touched me crazy, man, because the hurt that I seen in her voice, in her she crying, man, and she worrying about what this dude could do to her and what he has done to her. Man, listen here. I want to let this young lady know, and I know this is not the place for it, brother, but please allow me to say this to her, man. You know what I'm saying? I started this battle long time ago. And the situation is that, bruh, we already won. This was some spiritual that Pac, the spirit of Pac, the spirit of Big, the spirit of Miss Jones, the spirit of Wolf, all the people that he has done wrong, so Black, all the people that he has done wrong, bruh, is coming to light. We already won this spiritual. What we going through right now with these trials and everybody, with this financial situation and everything like that, all that is superficial. That's the physical part of it. The spiritual part of it was won because Big, Pac, Wolf Mother, all the people that he did wrong, bro. You understand? They already won the battle where we were supposed to win it at. So now we just going through the physical part of it, man. And I want that girl to know, man, that she ain't got to fear no man. She ain't got to fear him, nobody else, man. Whenever she needs, you understand? Whenever she needs somebody to travel, to go with her, to make sure she all right, you know, I'm a phone call away, man. I'm a phone call away. And you know, go ahead with your questioning, man. I just had to get that out, man, because that girl touched a lot of people, man, because all she wanted to do was write music, make music, and show her talent and her love to the people, man. And then she got to feel this way, be fearful and scared of her life and stuff like that. Ma, I ain't scared of no man. You understand? I ain't scared of no man. Nobody that got to put their pants on the same way I do. Not at all.
And for the people that don't know who Tiffany Red is, that's Cassie's best friend.
That's one of Cassie's friends. She was writing a lot of music, and she said that she was writing music for her friends to get raped to. Oh my God, man, come on, man. Start with your interview. I'm sorry about that, brother, man. That's just it's crazy to me, man. Man, you know, leopard don't change his spots, and Diddy been doing this for a real long time, bro. He been doing this for a long time, and now another artist. This artist didn't wait 10 years. You know what I'm saying? He didn't wait 20 years. You understand? He waited a year or two after he stopped working with him and saw he didn't get what he was supposed to get. And he said, yo, listen here, man. I'm putting in my claims right now because I'm going to show everybody what really happened, what really went down. It's crazy. When I was reading it, I read the whole thing. Shout out to Keisha in Kansas City. She sent me the whole documentation, bro, and you know the whole court thing. And when I'm reading the stuff, you know, it sound from a lot of it sound familiar. You understand? And what I mean sound familiar, how he would get other girls and get girls to try to, you know, convince this guy, you know, or put him in a sexual situation with other girls so he could do whatever he wanted to do with them. And it's just like the situation somewhat with Sarah and her girlfriend and him and Ja. You know what I'm saying? Bringing girls on to try to convince this other guy to be in a room with another naked man and all this other bullshit. Yo, it all sound familiar, man. I read the whole thing, man, and it was crazy.
And for the people that don't know what you're talking about, because the lawsuit is new, so, you know, some people still catching up with it. Little Rod, he alleges that, you know, Young Miami cousin tried to have sex with him in front of Diddy.
Yeah, he went into the bathroom, and then she came into the bathroom and tried to, you know, throw herself on him. He didn't want to have nothing to do with her for whatever reason. And then when he came out the bathroom, she continued to try to do that and try to have sex wanted him to have sex in front of Diddy and the rest of the people that was in there. You know, that's how they do, man. They try to use a girl that you might like, or you may think you might like, or they think you might like her or whatever, to convince you to lay down your guards with them. And he didn't.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And you're not surprised by none of this, because you said that Ja Rule, they did this to him, right?
No, remember, and people got it confused when I said that Ja and him was in the room with two girls, with Sarah and Sarah's girlfriend. You understand? He was trying to get Ja to go at Jay-Z. So what he did was try to get another girl, you understand, to do something with Ja. I guess, I don't know. They in the room together. So when they in that thing, I know what he was planning on doing because I heard the conversation. I knew what was going on. He was trying to get at Ja. So if he had got Ja in any kind of uncompromising position, he could force Ja to go at Jay-Z. So that's just a thing that they use. Lil Rod, he get him in a sexual position and a sexual situation with some kind of girl, and then maybe get him high, get him drunk, or whatever like that. He don't know what he doing. One of the guys step in, and now he doing Lil Rod. Now Lil Rod all messed up in the mind because he started off with a girl, but now he end up with a guy. He trying to put him in some kind of situation like that. They do that all the time in the industry.
So Diddy got a history of doing that. One thing I did see in this lawsuit, you know, Little Rod, he alleges that Diddy's son Justin was helping Diddy, get underage girls. And I guess he was bringing them to parties. You know anything about that?
I think Justin is the boy that could do it, if anybody. Him or either Quincy. You understand? Justin is a pretty boy. You understand? He looked young. He around that age, what, he about 25, 26 years old? So I don't know about underage, but it's a possibility because those girls 16, 15 years old, they're going to like that light skin, that curly hair. You understand? Man, listen here. We got girls that's what you call them, video vixens. And I ain't gonna mention no names because I don't want to hear it. They say they were sneaking into parties at 15 and 16 years old. So why you think 15 and 16-year-olds ain't sneaking in the Diddy party? So Lil Rod, if he having conversations with him, he may say, yo, how old are you or something like that? Somebody say, I'm like 16, I'm 15. Somebody had to tell him their age for him to know. Who you came here with? I came here with Justin. So what did that say?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And looking at this lawsuit, right? Little Rod, he alleges that, Diddy promised him a Grammy if he participated in homosexual activity.
I read that, man. You understand? And what kind of power do you have when you can promise somebody a Grammy award? Who are you doing something with, or who do you know that can promise? Beyonce did Beyonce get a Grammy for anything? Did she get a Grammy for her album or anything like that? Has she got a Grammy? She got Grammys before, right?
Yeah, she got Grammys, but she never got one for Album of the Year, though.
Right. So if she never got a Grammy for Album of the Year, and Diddy could promise a producer, if he's in a homosexual act, that he could give him a Grammy, what kind of power, who he doing, or what he know that he could get that done? That's some kind of spooky shit, bro. No disrespect. That's real spooky. If he could promise somebody. And good thing the kid didn't believe him, because if the kid would have believed him, he might have got his booty hole tore up. So my whole thing about it is listen here, man. He has to have some real power, but he showed us his power. Remember at the BET Awards? Remember when they was trying to go to commercial? And he said, nah, we're not going. Whoever done that, bro? Whoever stopped the people from going to commercial? Nobody ever did that but Diddy, bro. So he had some kind of power at one time. We don't know if he still got that power, but at the BET Awards, when they wanted to go to commercial, he did not allow them to go to commercial. So evidently, he knows somebody, or he doing somebody, or somebody doing him, allegedly.
You talking about when he was giving that speech at the BET Awards for the Lifetime Achievement Award?
When he gave that speech, he just kept going, bro. He just kept going and wouldn't stop. And he said, it don't matter how much it costs. We're going to keep going. And they wouldn't even go to commercial. That's never happened before, bro. Never.
And me looking at this lawsuit, he also alleges that Diddy forced him to watch a video of Stevie J having sex with a man.
Who, Little Stevie? Huh? Who, Stevie? What Johnson used to call him, Stevie? Yo, I read that, man. I don't know if you know this, but then maybe they have a tape that we didn't see because the pictures was a little vague. There was an exotic worker came out and said that was him and not Stevie J. But in order for them to put that in there, they must have clearly thought it was Stevie J or think it's Stevie J. But you got to get this, Art. Check this out. He knew that this kid admired Stevie J and loved the work Stevie J had done in the industry in the past. This kid looked up to Stevie J. Now, what if Puff told him that was Stevie J in the tape? And the guy looked like Stevie J. He did facial, his face was fixed like he was doing some of the faces Stevie J be making. You understand? So now the kid could have been drunk, kid could have been high. He was like, yo, Puff could have been like, yo, you talking about this is somebody you admire? Look what he doing. This Stevie J right here. Now, in that kid's mind, he may have thought that was Stevie J, or he think that's Stevie J. If Puff told him that was Stevie J, it was Stevie J. So people can't say, oh, he lying and everything like that, because we really don't know what was said. But the kid said he told him, this is somebody I admire. This is somebody you got high aspirations for, that you want to be like. Look and see what he doing. This is what you should be doing too. Wow. That was crazy.
And you knew Stevie J, right?
I knew Stevie J real well, bro. I knew Stevie J when he was with Bad Boy, one of the hitmen. When him and Puff fell out, I used to take Stevie J around and everything, bodyguard him in certain places and everything. Stevie J was one of those dudes. He was a good brother, but he always wanted to be seen.
And when you hear these allegations, right, you knowing Stevie J, do you think it's possible that he could be gay?
Well, I don't know his sexuality, but cocaine is a hell of a drug. You understand? And by cocaine being a hell of a drug, and he indulging with Diddy like that, and now he's invited to the Diddy parties. In that whole thing, if you read it, he said that Diddy said he was having sexual relationship with Stevie J. So all I can say is this, man. If two men lay down, how many homos get up?
Two.
In my book. That's all you can say, man. You don't know. You know, unless you catch them in an act like that. You understand what I'm saying? But if he said, Puff said that he laid down with Stevie J and two men lay down, two homos get up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a quote, man. And if I'm not mistaken, Stevie J, he was with you the night Big got killed, right?
Yeah, Stevie J was there. Stevie J was there. And as soon as Big died, he was supposed to get on the plane with us, with them, and go to New York. He rushed to Faith Hotel. Rushed just to the hotel. He was wearing my cross and my chain. Right? I said, Stevie, I'm not selling you my cross. My cross got blessed. He said, let me wear it. I said, yo, okay, bro. He gave me $1,500 for the chain and then never paid me for the cross. Ended up giving Faith the cross and the chain to give to little Chris Wallace. That's what he said he did with it.
You think it's a chance he was cracking Faith back then?
I don't know what he was doing, bro. But it's funny they end up now. It's funny he ran to Big's wife when he got murdered.
Yeah, that is weird, man. I never knew about that, man. You never told me about that, man. But to get back to this lawsuit, right? Little Rod, he also alleges that, Diddy, he will grope his genitals and he will grope his anus.
My man, I didn't understand that one right now because his anus is your asshole. His genitals is his nut. So I guess he had to be naked when Puff was doing that. Where was he at? What was he doing? Because he said that they never had sex. If you read it in the thing, they never had sex. He made claims that they never had sex, but how would he grope your anus? Your asshole? How would he play with your genitals?
Yeah, it don't make sense. I mean,
it don't make sense. How you wake up butt the F naked with two other men in the bed with Diddy and nothing happened? I think he was just trying to save face, man.
But do you think it's a possibility that he meant that, Diddy will grope his, butt, instead of anus? I mean, because I'm trying to figure out how does that work? Somebody groping your anus.
You're going to say your butt. The lawyer would say, what do you mean? He would say, my butt cheeks. There's a such thing called butt cheeks, your two cheeks. He said anus. The anus is the asshole. How did he get that far? Lil Rod, you gotta say no to Diddy sometimes. No, that shit ain't funny, man. But you gotta say no.
So from you reading the lawsuit, right, you feel like he had relations with Diddy.
When me being a former investigator, I think Lil Rod was trying to save face on certain things, that he had somewhat of a relationship, or he was doing some things with Diddy that he didn't want to really come out in that fashion, because there's no way that he gonna wake up and his anus is hurting and his genitals is all over the place, and he's in the bed after being drunk or drugged and saying nothing happened. And you think that Diddy gonna be in the bed with 3 other men and nothing happened? It doesn't sound logical. If we're reading and believing what he said in those papers. If you woke up in bed and you was drunk or intoxicated on ecstasy, on whatever drugs that they put in there, roofied you or whatever, and you not and you not feeling right, something is wrong. Wouldn't you say? Something is wrong. He didn't say we woke up with all my clothes. He said we woke up buck the F naked in those papers. So if he butt naked in those papers, it is what it is.
Right, I got you. But looking at this lawsuit, right, Little Rod, he alleges that, Diddy, he'll put his hands on him. But, when he'll put his hands on him, he'll disguise it as horseplay. But he felt like Diddy was trying to groom him in a sense.
Well, with the horseplay situation, I used to see him do that with certain women. You understand? When he was mad, upset, or he was too old for this, but he would do that play fighting shit. You understand? So I can imagine him play fighting with Lil Rod, because a lot of people could say what they want to say about Diddy. He got a knuckle game. He will fight you. You know what I'm saying? You his size. You understand something like that? Around your size, something like that, he would fight you. He had a knuckle game. He wasn't that dude that, like, people try to say he was some old scared ass nigga. Nah, he would fight you. You understand? So I could see with a person like Lil Rod, he probably was roughing him up, grabbing him, groping him, you know what I'm saying? Acting like he playing with him, but he actually want him to do what he want him to do. So, like I said before, that he did in the past. So when I read it from Lil Rod, I see he's doing the same shit he's doing in the future.
So he was doing this with females too back then when you was around.
Right. That's how him and Kim got into the fight. And he, play fight. He used to play fight with the pillows, like the pillow fight, that dumb shit like that. That's kid shit to me. But if that's the way they do, that's the way they do. You understand? He used to do it with Kim all the time.
So the horseplay was his way of grooming you in a sense.
Well, that grooming, that's some new shit. You know what I'm saying? We didn't call that, we didn't call it grooming back then. That his horseplay was a way of letting you know I could really hurt you if I wanted to. You get it? I could really hurt you. And that's what that kid probably felt. Yo, why he doing me like that? Oh, he just playing with you. No, he's letting you know, if I turn this up, I could really hurt you.
And that was his way of trying to get you to be submissive to him.
Right. He's letting you know. He's putting in your mind. Listen here, bro. He's trying to put in his mind, we're playing now. But if I really want to turn this shit up on you, it's on. You ain't got no wins. So that kid is feeling, yo, listen here. In his mind, if you read the documents, in his mind, he was so scared that when he went to other people in the camp and said, why did he treat me? Why did he doing this and doing that? They said, oh, he just playing with you because he love you. He like you. He was, no, he was trying to put that, instill that fear in you that he had in you. And he won.
Yeah, that does make sense, man. And me looking at this lawsuit, he's also, alleging that he met Cuban Gooding Jr. through Diddy on Diddy Yacht. And it even got to a point where he started touching him on his, upper inner thigh near his groin, according to him.
Did you see the picture?
Nah, I didn't get to see it, but
Oh my God. Yo, listen to me, man. I don't know if it was what they call it when you take two pictures and they put it together and stuff like that. What they call it when they put the pictures together and it don't belong together, but they put it together. Whatever,
side by side.
yeah, whatever they call that. Cuban Cuban Gooding Jr. was so close to that man. I would thought that was.
You ever met him before?
No, I don't think I met him before. Cuba, I can't recall me. No.
Okay. And he also alleges that, Diddy is the one that told him personally that he slept with Usher and Stevie J.
But I mentioned that earlier that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bro, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember, Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room, had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy count?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows, the white guy with the curly hair, what's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet and still you praise him.
Damn, man. And you said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
Yeah, man, that's a wild situation, man. And he's also alleging that, Diddy and his son Justin shot a producer named G, and they told him not to say anything and say it was a drive-by.
Right.
You heard about that, yeah?
And that's the whole thing about it. When Diddy told the people that was in the I guess at the studio that time, that said that it was a drive-by. This is what the little girl, not a little girl, I'm sorry about that. Her name is Tiffany Red. Just what she was speaking about on her thing, bro. She was saying, like, in order to get in that studio, you got to be buzzed in about 3 or 4. You got to get buzzed in 2 or 3 times. There's no blood coming from the outside to the inside. He got pictures. I saw the pictures. He got pictures of all the blood and everything in the bathroom. He took pictures, bro. Now, Diddy is messing with an investigation of a shooting. If he told people to lie and tell the cops that it was a drive-by, and then he had people that he had hired, the people that he knew that was cops and there's friends of his that came in, that talked to the people, that's instruction. No, was it instruction? He's instructing of justice when he's trying to interfere with an investigation. He could be charged with that because nobody was ever found in the shooting. So that case could still be open because that kid was shot. Obstruction of justice, that's what it is. He obstructed justice because whoever shot that kid in the bathroom, well, it was Justin or Diddy. One of them did it because 3 of them went in the bathroom together. G, Justin, and Diddy. One got shot. Unless the kid gonna say he shot himself. But Diddy still obstructed justice because he had everybody, he told the people in the studio, he told all the people, and he lied and paid everybody off to lie. He probably paid the guy off who got shot and said, yo, man, listen here, take this money and say that it was a drive-by. So if the DA wanted to get him on something, that's enough right there. That's a criminal act. That's an open case. But the police know it's a lie anyway. You know why?
Watch that.
Any of those studios, anybody that have insurance on a facility have to have surveillance cameras a certain amount of feet away from your facility. So if it was a drive-by, they would have to go to the videotape and the surrounding videotape. So they knew that was a lie. But because he had the money and he had the cops on his payroll, nobody did nothing about it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. They let him get away. But looking at this lawsuit, right, why do you think Little Rod is naming all these people in this lawsuit?
Witnesses. He needed witnesses. And whether they work for Diddy or not, if they get caught lying on the stand about anything and he has proof that certain things happen, my man, he put me in a lawsuit. I wasn't even around this. My name is in there. Your name is in there. You understand? So my whole thing about it is that he want enough witnesses, because you got to realize this. This is not a criminal case. This is a civil case. So now in a civil case, he has to prove that he was unjustly done, that Diddy did him wrong. Because if you read the lawsuit, he financially said, yo, give me 50,000 and give me my publishing and we good. Diddy only gave him 29,000 and didn't give him none of his publishing. And he wrote 9 songs. So now he gonna add all these people, the wait, what was the chef and them seen Diddy walking around naked. One other chef prior to this particular chef made claims and sued Diddy before because he was walking around her naked. So remember I said behavior don't change? He doing the same shit he did with the first chef. The girl who sued him before. So now he's doing it again. So all the people, the chef, the business manager, the people in the studio, they named everybody. For what? Because when their story come out, it shows a pattern of behavior that he has been getting away with. And people ain't gonna lie for him and get caught in a lie and getting caught in contempt and go to jail because they lied, they perjured themselves. So he put everybody's name in that lawsuit so he can get a lot of witnesses. So what happens if you got a lot of witnesses? Do we want to go to court and listen to their story? They may want to settle out. But he said he got a high-power lawyer. He ain't going to settle out. He going to prove everybody is lying on him.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. I can't wait to see how this turn out. But also in this lawsuit, he alleges that, Diddy was manipulating him by telling him that he was gonna give him, fame, money, and property. How you feel about him saying that?
Said he was going to give him get him a house out there on Star Island. He said a whole lot of things.
Again, shout out to Art of the Dialogue podcast. This is their footage. This was on their podcast. This is Gene Deal, the bodyguard for P. Diddy. He was his bodyguard for over 20 years. He was there that night that Biggie got shot. He's been there from the beginning. So again, I find his statements all credible. This guy's not blinking. He's not stuttering through his comments. So again, this is Gene Deal, the bodyguard of P. Diddy for over 20 years. And again, all of the dialogue, shout out to them, their podcasts out there on the West Coast.
They said Diddy made him wear this hat that says bad boy. That was a sign for the sex workers to know he was the guy to come home with. Out of all that stuff that he did he never got lucky?
I mean, you make a good point, man. You might be right, man. So that's what he said in the lawsuit. He said that Diddy would make him wear a hat that said bad boy.
If you read this in the thing, he would make him wear a hat that says bad boy with the bad boy logo. All the sex workers that had been dealing with Diddy all the time knew that was the person they were supposed to connect with by the hat he had on. Bro, it's in the paperwork. I read the whole It's in the paperwork. There's 14 causes and effect in that paperwork.
Right. And he also said in his lawsuit that Diddy, he haven't paid him for none of his work.
Well, I think in the paperwork it says that it was either an offer of, he asked Diddy for 50,000, Diddy offered him 29 or something like that, or he gave him 29, and he wanted 21 more thousand with all his publishing. But, bruh, they leaked this on tape. They leaked this on the internet. Diddy was sitting on the couch with one of the, I don't know who he was. And the guy said to Diddy said, I'm the boss of this shit. I'm the boss. And he said, yeah, you are the boss. He said, but Lil Rob ain't shit. We need to get all his publishing. That shit leaked on the internet. And I was like, oh, shit. And then all this stuff came out. But look how funny it is, bro. He filed this September of last year. Why are we just hearing about it now? You know why we just not hearing about it?
Why is that?
Because they was trying to figure out some way to pay him and sweep this, let it go out, but it wasn't going through. So now they made it public. They made it public because they probably, it knows that they try to say that Lil Rob lawyers number is not answering, or they're not, connecting with us. No, because they're not connecting with y'all because y'all numbers don't add up. The money that they looking for, y'all didn't want to give them that. So now we taking it to federal court to get the money that we feel like that we're entitled to. So now I'm looking at this whole thing. The kid was going to see a psychiatrist. He was trying to get help so he could show damages. He got PTSD. He got a lot of different things that he was saying in the paperwork, that he's psychologically traumatized from the shooting, from the sex workers, all that. So he suffered from PTSD. He suffered from anxiety. He suffered from post-traumatic stress. Yep, there's PTSD, right? And he said that he has been financially and psychologically fucked up from dealing with Diddy.
Damn, man, I didn't know he was going through all that. But he also alleged in this lawsuit that, Diddy, he got a whole lot of hidden cameras around his house. And he feels like Diddy is using all that footage for blackmail.
Probably so. I could believe that. I believe it's a lot of rappers, a lot of music people, a lot of executives that could not say no. Cat Williams say, you just got to say no to Diddy. And it's a lot of people that couldn't say no. And they probably on tape because they couldn't say no.
So you think it's possible that Diddy, he got footage of rappers in the stash, just in case he got to use it for blackmail?
It's a possibility. It's not far-fetched. If he was taping Cassie and he was having Cassie taped and everything like that, why wouldn't he do nobody else? She's the only one? I doubt it.
Right. I mean, good point, man. But did you hear about that story from the actor Columbus Short? He told a story about how Diddy, he invited him to his house late at night.
I believe him. I believe the Columbus Short. Yo, bruh, why would that man come out? He got a whole wife or whatever, come out and say that Diddy did something that he didn't do. He could have said anybody else. But Columbus Short, he let people know straight out the rack. Yo, if they talking about some homosexuality and it's about Diddy, it may be true. Because he tried me. That's what he said. That's what Columbus Short said. He tried me. And you notice the guys that don't fall for that shit, they not popping in the industry. They not working. They not going to Hollywood. They not doing it because it's people like him that they cut short. Like Cat Williams said, when they don't give up their booty hole, they don't give up that sexuality, they cut them short. That means they're not working in the industry like that no more.
Yeah, that does make sense, man. I mean, but I want to go back to this lawsuit, right? Because I know you've seen the whole lawsuit. I couldn't see everything. It's like 75 pages. So, I ain't had the time to look at everything. But you was telling me that, Little Roy, he alleges that, Diddy was making him do the same thing that he was making Cassie do, right? Where he was making him pick out sex workers with BBCs.
Well, the thing about it is he has proof that he had to pick out the male sex workers, not only get the male and the female sex workers. He said that this is where it becomes a RICO act because he had to use credit cards, he had to use money, he had to use credit cards, transfer money, and do all that stuff like that. So it's crazy that the same thing that Cassie said she did, that's in his lawsuit back in September, that he had to do the same thing, and he has the paper trail to prove it. He has the paper trail. He had to pick out the guys, but like I said, it's hard to believe that it was not a certain kind of relationship with him and Diddy by him doing that and then waking up in the bed naked. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he had Little Roy doing the same thing that he was making his woman do. He was treating him like one of his women, had him, picking out male prostitutes. So, yeah, man, that's wild, man.
Yeah. And then Lil Rod said that this is what cost the RICO and the trafficking laws. You understand? This is where it becomes criminal because he was hiring sex workers and then Lil Rod being a worker for you, and then he's transferring money. What else they said? He was transferring money. He was, paying the sex workers and stuff like that. With what they call it, through MoneyGrams or whatever, like whatever form of payments that he was doing, they were saying that it constituted a criminal empire, and because they were traveling from different states and doing it wherever they went, it made it a RICO act with other people that was involved in it, and they were helping by gaining. It was a criminal enterprise because they was helping by giving him the money and making it possible for all these things and all these sexual all these people to be paid through for doing these sexual acts. So it's the same Cassie was doing, and I don't understand why the hell Diddy thought this should go to court.
Yeah, because I mean, he could have had this stopped before it came out.
Yeah, they had September, October, November, December, January, part of February. They had 4 or 5 months. But how could he keep quiet that he pay a couple of $1 million to somebody, or 10, 15, $20 million? How could he keep that quiet? If you see the paperwork, have you seen the paperwork that was submitted to the courts? They have different videos on different sections and different videos that they saying that they have the full video of it. It's going to be real exciting. Real exciting. I'm going to give you this last sound bite on this joint because you missed this. Meek Mills. Well, he said a Philly rapper. You understand? And it was redacted in the paperwork to that because, first of all, it had Meek Mills, it had Stevie J, they had redacted their names, and they had Usher, and they redacted their names and just said a performer of the Super Bowl and a Philly rapper. Everybody kind of knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, My man, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that shit. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like, he dressing the same, he dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of shit, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bro. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all the other shit, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that other shit like that.
Oh, wow.
That shit is crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this shit. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
And looking at this lawsuit, you know, Little Rod, he also claiming that, you know, when he would go to parties with Diddy, he was lacing up the woman drinks with drugs. How you feel about him saying that? You believe that?
I read that, and if that's what he saw, if he could prove that, and he has a lot of video. He said he had hours and hours of video. So people know how certain people act after one drink, two drinks. And if those girls was drinking out those bottles that he said Diddy laced, and he could show on camera, and he could show that some people had passed out or some people were acting a certain way after they had those drinks, he won his case on that one.
When you was around Diddy, was he doing drugs, like party drugs, like ecstasy and stuff like that?
Diddy wasn't the dude he is today when I was around him. You understand? He had just started. When I was about to leave, he had just started with because he never smoked weed, he never smoked cigarettes. I never seen him do cocaine or none of that shit. You understand? He would have it for people to do it. You understand? It's certain of his girls like to do it, and he would make sure it would be there. But he wasn't the one that did it. Diddy didn't start getting hooked on drugs until he got hooked on those painkillers. After he got hooked on those painkillers, he started drinking more, because he wouldn't even drink hard liquor. He was only drinking champagne, Don P or Cristal. He was not drinking hard liquor then.
Yeah, that's real talk, man. And he also claims that, you know, Diddy, he was using TD Jakes to fix his image. You believe that?
Well, we saw that to be true anyway. That's what he was trying to do all that time. That's why TD Jakes was there, to try to fix his image. Ain't no money like church money. He was doing all the things to try to get his image straightened up.
I mean, it makes sense. And he also said in this lawsuit that when he was around Diddy, he seen Diddy give out guns, a lot of guns. And he said that the environment around Diddy was violent.
Well, I don't know. He also said Diddy distributed firearms and was selling drugs. And I don't know how far-fetched that is. I don't know if that's true or not and stuff like that. Maybe, Diddy may have had guns around and was fronting. Because they do have guys who, if you need guns and stuff like that, call your man, them over, he'll bring over 5 or 6, 7, 8 guns, and you'll probably buy them from them. They had that type of, connection with people.
Wendy Williams, what you think about what's going on with her right now?
Oh, my man, that's crazy. That was heartbreaking. I watched that whole show, bro. And I remember Wendy way back when, and I've seen her at the radio station when I used to go up there and take people up there for K-Slay. And I seen her, first time I seen Wendy, she was trying to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember telling the guy, yo, Wendy who? He said, yo, Wendy Williams. She want to know who you are. And I said, where's she at? And she was on this, like this chair, like a mantle sitting up on the stage and stuff like that. That's just go right there. And I was at the bar chilling. I had bought some champagne, a bottle, stuff like that, setting it up for my friends them to come in. And they said, Wendy want to know who you are. And I said, who I am. And I looked at her, she said, yeah, Wendy Williams, that's what I said. I would know, I was told to do, I said, I would have to see her baby pictures. And the dude said, well, what you mean by that? I said, yeah, I had to see her, she said, Wendy Williams, because she didn't, look real feminine to me at the time. I said I would have to see her baby pictures. You know what I'm saying? And he just looked at me, and it was the dude Skeletor. So when I was watching the whole Wendy Williams thing, I used to go to her Dons and Divas party. You know what I'm saying? I knew her husband Cav, because my man Chaz used to do business with him or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying? Because they used to do those Dons and Divas parties. So then she got with Cav. Cav was a street dude, out of Brooklyn. People knew him. So long story short, to see that she went through the stuff and how that drug, alcohol, and cocaine ruined probably one of the greatest talk show hosts life is a template for everybody who want to be in the entertainment business to see that you could be at the top of your game and you could be at your bottom of it. The same ladder you go up is the same one that you must come down. And that drugs and that alcohol don't mean you no damn good. Because it has torn up one of the greatest minds of radio of our time down. So it was heartbreaking to see Wendy in that type of situation, bro.
How you feel, and I hate to ask you about this, but you see it on social media, so I want to get your opinion. How you feel about the people that say that, what she going through right now is karma?
So let me ask you a question like this. Is she the first gossip column? Nah. She was just doing what she had an avenue and she had a lane that was done better than anybody who did it before, that came before her.
But I'm talking about her, coming at people, beefing with people, spreading rumors that wasn't true. One, for example, her saying that Tupac got raped in prison. He did an interview complaining about what she said and how, it was a lie. So, stuff like that.
It was a lot of people that was doing that before. It was people was exposing that way before then. What about James Brown? They talk about James Brown beating his wife. They talking about Marvin Gaye being strung out on cocaine way before Wendy Williams. They had gossip column, they had shit like that but she just perfected it and she was great at it. And she came and she brought it to the forefront of television. You understand what I'm saying? It's no different. It's just the way she did it made it seem like it may have been salacious or something like that. It wasn't. It was just her doing it her way. I don't blame her for what she did. I don't think it's nothing different from a lot of these people who come on here who claim like they journalists. She went to school. You understand? A lot of people claim to be journalists like you, myself. We all come on here, but who has an education in journalism? Who has an education in broadcasting? Who has an education in communication that they could come and develop a program and stuff like that? You don't have to have that anymore. You got people coming on here and they talking doing their thing. You understand? But there's none other like Wendy Williams, man. None other like her.
I was looking at an interview from Jaguar, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. She told a story about how she knows a lawyer that walked in on Christopher Williams giving Diddy fellatio for a demo deal. You know anything about that? You heard about that?
Bruh, I don't know how true that is. I've heard that, but I know Christopher Williams. And I know Christopher Williams was a crazy gangster ass nigga from Mount Vernon. From up in that area, Westchester. He didn't play that shit. He kept that 3.2 or that 38 on him, and he will shoot the shit out you. You understand? He was rough with his hands with the women. And the story went on and said that a lawyer walked in the office. When she walked in the office, she walked right out, and she said it was a dude, and she said it was Christopher Williams. It was one other brother, I forgot his name, that worked with Bad Boy. Him and Christopher Williams could have been brothers. And if anybody was doing that, it would have been him, not Christopher Williams. Do you understand that? Him and Christopher Williams could have been brothers. That's how close, that's how they had the same look, light skin, and little low on the side, curly hair and stuff like that. I would never believe it was Christopher Williams. You understand? But that other cat, yeah. You got to realize when you walk into something, it's very few people, if they walk into something like that, they're going to stare there and look and just be all into the shit, right? There's very few people going to do that. When you walk in something that's very inappropriate, you're going to back up out, especially women. You understand what I'm saying? So now, if she's seen a glance, she only going to see a glance. Now, if somebody who looks like Christopher Williams, maybe. But then you got to look at it like this. Was she in the office all the time? I don't remember us having a lawyer in the office like that. Or she was just coming by that particular time. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I want to stay off that. But I know from knowing Christopher Williams, having an altercation with him before, and knowing people that know him, he's some old crazy gangster shit. And why would he? Puff nigga? Nah, bro. Puff wasn't that damn big back then.
Keefe D, what you think about that situation, yo? What's going on with that?
Well, I spoke to Keefe D's son, and Keefe D's son said that he was all right, he was fine. He never got beat up in jail. All that was bullshit. He in jail with family and friends, and he's doing good. They just trying to get this money up so he can come home.
I don't think you're going to get the money, bro. Who's going to put the money up for that, yo?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do you still feel the same? You think he's still going to win it?
I know he's going to win it. I know he's going to win it. You got to realize he got a trial by judge. The judge has to file, the judge has to follow the letter of the law. There's only circumstantial evidence and hearsay on a murder case. Appreciate you. I'll holler at you later.
Hey, Hanks, I agree. Hope you're sorry. This is your boy N-O-R-E. What up, it's DJ EFN. And this is motherfucking Drink Chat Podcast. Make some noise! And right now, I'm proud to announce that we are standing in front of two icons. I'm saying they're beyond legendary. This guy, one person, single-handedly changed the way hip-hop is being promoted, changed the way marketing is being handled, advertisement. He has finessed it. Every hip-hop sneaker in the world has to have a connection to him somehow, some way. And then the other guy is one of the most powerful groups, one of the people I personally owe Tone, because after I look at NORE album, I always say, damn, I should have made Trackmaster's executive producer. Because you guys was really there, intricate in that whole album, and that's the album that made me a star. So in case these motherfuckers don't know who we talking about, we're talking about Steve Stout and Tone from Trackmasters. Make some noise! Now, Stout, I want to start with you. They say the origins of your career started with Kid and Play. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started with Kid and Play. 90, 91, 92.
Okay.
I started as their road manager. So, you know, like, it's been a long journey since then, but like, they put me on straight up. Like, I got introduced to Wiz through a mutual friend, and then like, that's how I got on.
All right. So now, in the beginning, because you said you was their road manager, what you just say?
Well, I wasn't even the road manager. I was the roadie. That's the guy who checks in for the road manager.
Okay.
I'm the advance man.
Right.
That's what I was.
Let's make some noise for Humble. Get it. This man walked in with a specific briefcase. I still don't know what that is. It looks fantastic. What is that?
It's Japanese whiskey.
No, I'm talking about that. What is that?
Oh, this is
no. The leather thing.
No. This is
you open it and it glows and shit.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh my god. He wanted
some cigars and shit. Just Trinidad's, Partagas. You know, just like work. We here
regular
talking.
Shit,
like,
right?
We're gonna do this shit. Let's do the whole conversation, man. And I don't want to hold back nothing. Honestly, I want to get into this really deep.
Oh, I got tons of questions.
I'm checking your journalism skills.
No, I got tons.
I'm checking your journalism skills.
I had this cheat code for a while.
Okay,
but here's you had a video on the internet recently that blew my mind. I think I called you and I told you I had a great idea because you were in Italy, I believe. You were in customs, right? And these guys were trying to get you to pay for the wines.
I didn't understand it.
Okay,
it was Italian wine. I was bringing it back home. They were charging me.
Right, but the crazy thing was, I was around a couple of my friends, and we was Googling the actual bottles that you had, and this is some exclusive shit. Like, I felt like, I said, yo, this is rap class. Like, he's literally, I went, because I spent money on alcohol, and I literally don't know what I'll be doing. Like, just spend, and these were particular types of wines, right, Stout?
Yeah.
Describe that.
Well, I can't remember what I had an assortment. I was going on vacation. I had to stop, had a business thing, and then I was going on vacation afterwards, and I just wanted to have, in case I got thirsty.
Just some expensive wine around. We get it.
No, actually, it's what I drink on a regular basis. Now, if I want to drink, like it just goes there, like everything else. Like, you know, you don't smoke the same weed you used to smoke?
No.
Yeah, there's no season.
No.
Right? Everything just keeps changing and shit, right? So that's what it was. And they're flagrant over there in customs anyway. They just hit you with some wild Italian shit and just want you to just write.
Started on this week's segments. Is there anything that you wanted to speak on or talk about before we get started?
No, just once again, the second time, just wondering, I know we're still in the month of Sagittarius, And so y'all keep on having a good birthday, and the people that's born in the month of December. And y'all start getting ready for holidays. Don't let the holidays slip up on y'all, and be careful with y'all drinking and driving, because y'all know the police is out there looking for y'all that like to drink and drive during this time of the year. And then wanted to give a shout out to a guy that's a big supporter of Bomb First. I know since I've been around, I can't say day one because I'm not a day oneer, but a guy by the name of D Ham in the comment section. His name is Donald Hammonds. And he got a book that he self-published and put out. He don't even know that I'm doing this. I just wanted to shout it out because, man, this dude, when I was in, well, y'all know when I had to go on vacation, every month I got it. I think when he got paid, he put $30 on my books, and I always appreciated that. And Big D Hammond, his book is Cover Up the Guardian, Guidon, Phase 1. If y'all can just go out and support that brother, military dude, and coach, got a daughter that's doing real good in high school basketball, and a good brother. If y'all want to go and read a book, for those of y'all like to read books, if y'all like me, then you can hide a book, because if you want to hide something from me, you write it down, because Reggie don't do no reading. But anyway, other than that, John, let's get into it, man. Hope you having a safe holidays, because I know you got that beautiful daughter that's now old enough to understand Christmas and know what Christmas means. So get ready.
I wanted to talk to you to start and talk about what Warren G had said on Drink Champs, and then Suge had kind of reiterated about the next Snoop having like a next telephone and hearing play-by-play what happened in Vegas.
You know what? See, I hate responding to stuff because everybody always want to make it like Reg always trying to correct Suge's truth and all of that. I'm just trying to put it out as I remember it and go back and forth. I'm not saying everything I say is 100% accurate, and I'm not saying everything Suge is saying is inaccurate. I'm just telling it how I remember it, or Snoop or anybody else. So I don't call another person, because when we did that video and talked about it, and I hope I know that nigga probably at home smoking on something good and watching football, but I don't call him because he was like, Reg. He was like, man, what are they talking about? But I ain't gonna coach it. I'm gonna let him tell the story. Y'all know Big Flossie from the LBC. He was one of him and Big C Style and Trey D and all of them were one of Snoop's closest confidants back in the 96. So I'll let him tell the story of what happened on that, and then I'll add to the part of the story about who has radios and who didn't. And matter of fact, I'll tell who had radios before I call, while I'm trying to get Flossie on the phone. About to start calling him right now. And then, but the people that had radios, y'all, were Reggie and Suge and Norris Anderson, who was the general manager, who was the coordinator, really like Suge's assistant. And, he was really the connector at the time, Norris and Roy. If you ever hear those two names, Norris Anderson and Roy Tesfaye. So they had a radio that was stationed at the office. Reggie Suge had a radio. The homeboys, I think it would have been Neckbone for sure, Buntry for sure, Tupac did not have a radio, even though we put it out there like he did have one in there. That was actually Suge's radio. Tupac security, whoever was assigned to him, had a radio. And Tupac would always take it or have it and all of that, because Tupac wasn't